the Lori Vallow trial set to begin on Monday, April 3rd. Jury selection scheduled to begin then as well. Now, parties were in court today talking about the witness list. We want to bring in now Fox 10's Justin Lum to talk more about this. Justin, you've been covering this so extensively, specifically about the witness list. What happened today? What do people need to know?
Well, today there was a last-minute hearing. We just found out about it last night. The Ada County Courthouse in Boise, Idaho, where this hearing took place for Lori Vallow, and it specifically discussed relatives of the victims. We're talking about Kay Woodcock. So we're going to take you down into a bit of a rabbit hole. Kay Woodcock is the biological grandmother of J.J. Vallow, Lori Vallow's adopted son, who is one of the 3 murder victims in this case. Lori is accused of killing her 2 kids, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Now, several years ago, J.J. was adopted by Lori Vallow and her then husband, Charles Vallow. Important to note, Charles is Kay Woodcock's younger brother. Now, Charles was shot and killed in Chandler, Arizona in July 2019. There's a very big backstory there. Lori's accused of conspiring with her late brother, Alex Cox, to kill Charles. So, citing this adoption by the Vallows, Lori's lawyers say Kay Woodcock is legally JJ's aunt and should be excluded from being inside the courtroom unless she is testifying during trial. Now, this would be a huge blow to the Woodcocks, including Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandfather as well. They've been there every step of the way. They've heard evidence, they've heard testimony. In Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing, Chad Daybell would be the co-defendant in this case, although his trial is separate. So they've been here every step of the way, and to have them excluded from the courtroom, well, of course, they are not happy about that at all. Now, Lori's lawyers also say that her sister should be excluded, but not her oldest son, Colby Ryan, who would be the half-brother of the siblings J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. They say it's fine for him to be allowed and identified as a statutory victim, just not the grandparents and just not Lori's sister. Prosecutors do intend to call on Kay Woodcock as a witness, and they are going to argue this. In fact, they did. They might add some supplemental briefings. Kay Woodcock believes this is unfair, of course, so this is going to be another angle on this very twisted, bizarre saga as trial is about to get underway on Monday.
Yeah, a lot that's happened today, Justin. And have you had a chance to speak with the grandparents about this? I would imagine that this has been some very difficult news to hear.
Yeah, you can imagine that. We've been in contact with them throughout the past almost 4 years, and leading up to this trial, they were just ready to go, excited, anxious, and then a hearing like today happens. Very disappointed. They're definitely fighting back, and they want to be able to sit there in every single part of this trial as they seek justice in this case. So we're going to see what the judge does. The judge will issue a written ruling on this, so we should hear back soon, hopefully as soon as early next week, while jury selection is being done.
Yeah, and Justin, there's been so many people who have been just wanting to follow this case from start to finish. It's been a lot of time that has happened really since the beginning of this, leading into Monday and the trial beginning then. Catch people up to speed with the latest, especially for people who might not be familiar with the origins of this story.
Well, just so you know, if you're not familiar, this is happening in Ada County. This venue where trial is being set is not where the alleged murders happened. That happened in Fremont County, Idaho, which is about a few hours away. But the judge decided that the venue should be changed so they could get a fair and impartial jury for the defendant, so there would be no other issues. You can argue that many people do know about this case, but at the same time, they're going to try to find a jury that's going to be objective and be fair, and that doesn't know as much as so many do, following this from all over the country and also all over the world. So now that that's been solidified in Ada County, cameras have also been banned. That was a huge decision by the judge to not allow streaming broadcasting inside the courtroom, photographs. This will all be taped on audio. There's no live broadcast of the audio. You are not going to see this visually. There may be some courtroom sketches, but definitely there is a shroud of mystery here, a case where people have been waiting for years to see, and it's just not going to be a visual like we thought it would be with the banning of cameras.
Yeah, and I would think, too, that would make your job even more important, having to help paint that picture for people who won't be able to see exactly what's happening in the courtroom.
Exactly. Every bit of information, all the evidence that we're going to hear, the testimony that we are going to hear, that is going to be crucial to get that to the public, because there is extreme interest and the public deserves to know what happened. They deserve to know what prosecutors and the defense have to say, witnesses and all of that testimony. So not having the cameras is a challenge, but having reporting within the courtroom from inside, that is going to be very, very crucial.
And prior to today's hearing, the other big piece of information that has come along with this case is that the judge has taken the death penalty off the table for Lori Vallow. I want to pull up some video here from that day. We had you in studio last week talking about that as well. But for viewers who may have missed that, can you explain again why the judge ultimately decided to remove the possibility of the death penalty if she's convicted?
Well, legal terms, it was a discovery sanction, being that the prosecution took a little too long and didn't meet the deadline on disclosing some of the discovery to the defense. Basically gave them an important slap on the wrist, because they really wanted to seek the death penalty, and they said, we're taking this off the table. The court decided on that, and so the defense, that was pretty much a W for Lori Vallow, and we're going to see what happens here with jury selection and the length of the trial. That is now affected by taking the death penalty out of this case, but that does not change for Chad Daybell. When his trial comes along, prosecutors will still seek the death penalty for him if he is convicted of murder.
Okay, thanks so much, Justin. A lot of things to come with this, and a lot of recent developments as well. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again a lot, especially as that trial is set to begin on Monday.